All right, so we have our dough in our 12 inches and we are going to cut every 3 inches to make our cuts, or every 4 inches. I'm sorry, math is hard right now. So I'm gonna make a cut at 4 inches and at 8 inches. All right, and I just like to roll them in my hands a little bit, just so I can get the feel, and these all feel pretty even. All right, put that over there. So now we have to make our strand. So how I roll is I like to start with one hand just kind of flattening it out first. And then I take both hands at the same time and I apply pressure and I move out to the sides. Now you want to make sure that your strands are staying even the whole way. And when I'm doing a 3 braid, my strands are a little bit thicker, so I'm going to make these about 1 inch. And that looks pretty good. They're about 1 inch long. See how it's even from the top to the bottom and there's no tapering. We're going to do our other one. I want to make sure it's even, applying pressure in an equal speed throughout. All right, that looks pretty good. Right next to our other piece and our last strand. Start with 1, move to 2 hands. Apply pressure and move out at the same time. You can hear some of those air bubbles popping as I'm doing this. You want to make sure you get those air bubbles out. Again, you don't want one side thinner than the other. You want them pretty equal throughout. So that looks good. All right, so now we are going to start our braid. And we're going to take our 3 strands. The first thing you're going to do is you are going to kind of mush the tops all together. Now, if you've never braided before, the most important thing about a braid is you're always bringing the outside strand to the middle. Outside to the middle, outside to the middle, outside to the middle, just like this. We're going to start with our right. We're going to bring our right side, bring it to the middle. Move it over, bring our left side to the middle. Our right side to the middle, 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 to the middle. And when we get to the end, kind of mash them all together, and I just kind of tuck it in on both sides. And we have our loaf, our 3 braided loaf, and I will show you right here. Now notice I didn't do it too tight because our bread is still going to go through our second rise and it's going to expand a little bit. So we are going to take, oh, there's a little air bubble that I'm going to pop. We're going to take our baking sheet and our 2 pieces of parchment. I'm going to put them just side by side here, and we're going to take one of our loaves and we're going to set her down right here, and we will wait until our next loaf. All right, so we're going to do our 6th braid now. So for our 6th braid, you are going to take your loaf, and again, we want to spread it out and get to those 12 inches. I gotta pop some of those air bubbles in there. All right, so we're gonna make a log, and we're gonna get to those 12 inches. You can use a ruler. It doesn't have to be 12 inches. I just think that's the easiest way to see it and cut it. All right, let's test this, see how far we are. Ooh, pretty darn close. All right. That looks good. All right, now this time we're going to cut every 2 inches to make our little balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so even though we measured, they're not always perfect. So like we did with the other one, just kind of roll them into a ball a little bit. And I like to feel them in my palm, and you can really feel if you're turning them in your palm, are some bigger than the other. So this one's kind of small, and this one feels a little bit big. So I'm gonna cut, remember, never pull, always cut, and add a little bit of dough. Let's see. This one's also a little bit small. This one's a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of dough, add it in here. Starting to feel more uniform. This one's still a little bit big. I'm gonna add that here. All right, these are feeling pretty good. So same process, you're gonna start and make your strands. You want to apply pressure throughout. These are going to be a little bit smaller. Obviously, we're using half of the amount of dough per the strand. So they might be a little bit thinner and a little bit shorter, and that's okay. But again, you wanna keep them kind of consistent throughout. You don't want it tapering off at one end. So start with one hand. When you have enough room, move to two hands, popping those air bubbles as you go. Like I said, it might be a little bit thinner, a little bit shorter. That's okay. So you want it about a 1/4 inch thick now, maybe a little thinner. There you go. So there's one. All right, we got another one. Again, notice how I'm always keeping my dough on the surface and never taking it off and doing it like this, never swinging it around. Gravity takes over and you don't really you get a different kind of stretch than what you're looking for. Shouldn't take too much pressure to get these to spread out. Last one. Looks pretty good. All right, so it's the same concept, basic concept, that we're always bringing the outside to the middle, but you are replacing the outside with another strand for your 6th braid. So start the same way, bring all of your strands together. And you're gonna wanna start by pinching them together at the top, like this. All right, so you wanna kind of space them out, make sure they don't stick together. Some of mine are sticking. All right, so same concept, but a little bit different. This time, we're gonna start with our right strand. I always start with my right strand. It's just habit. If you're a lefty, you can start with your left strand. It's just gonna be opposite what I'm saying. So start with your right strand and you're gonna fold it all the way over so it's perpendicular to the rest of the strands, just straight across. You're gonna take the one that was all the way to the left and you're gonna bring it totally across so it's totally perpendicular the same way. So we're gonna start there and then I kind of move my strands so there's a clear middle section. And just like we did with the 3 braid, we're gonna start with the outside and we're gonna bring it to the middle. Now, here's where it's a little bit tricky. What you're gonna do next is you're gonna replace what you just moved with the second from the right. And you're gonna replace it. Now, over to the right again, bring it to the middle and replace it with the second from the left. Now we're gonna repeat that. Bring it to the middle and replace it. And you can kind of move your strand so you can always see where the middle is. Bring it to the middle and replace it. 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 To the middle, replace it. We're getting down to the wire here. To the middle and replace it. To the middle and replace it. Maybe do 2 more. Middle, replace it, and middle, and replace it. So we kind of got to the end right here, and you're like, oh, what do I do? So kind of same thing, you're gonna pinch them all together. No exact science to this. And you wanna make sure they look uniform, and right now they're a little lopsided. So do at this point is kind of smush together both of our sides, roll them a little bit so they kind of flatten out, and just fold them under just a touch. So they come together and they look nice and uniform. And so this is what our 6th braid looks like. Beautiful.